on the Breedlove GB News interview, or why I shouldn't be allowed on TV. Despite my rather highfalutin moniker, Shakespearean ape, and constant quoting of the bard, I am fundamentally a man of bad taste. As such, I must admit to enjoying the GB News Bitcoin interview with Jennifer Arcuri a good deal more than the much more thoughtful follow-up with our very own Robert Breedlove. As engaging and reasonable as the suspiciously good-looking Breedlove is, there's nothing quite like the joyous, indignant rage one feels when a subpar enemy such as Arcuri spouts lie after lie about something close to your heart. To watch Arcuri bloviate, most ignorant of what she is most assured of, with a glassy essence, like an angry ape. Oh, it warms one's blood, illuminates the face and puffs up the heart. Watching Breedlove's interview, however, left me feeling anxious, conflicted, and sadly rather unsatisfied. This is not because Breedlove did a poor job. I mean, it is no mean feat to go on live TV in front of an interviewer and audience you know nothing about and try to explain a complex, misunderstood topic that they know nothing about. The issue is partly that Breedlove's raison d'etre is long-form, philosophical interviews with fellow cerebral types. 4 hours of Lex Friedman, 2 hours of Jordan Peterson, 67 years with Michael Saylor. Not exactly the experience that prepares one to explain Bitcoin in 2-minute sound bites to Pat from Barnsley. None of this is to say that I could have done a better job than Breedlove did. I am certain that my own performance would have been so incompetent that it could only have been explained by conspiracy, probably leading Daniel Prince to, quite reasonably, tweet that I must be a psyop from the World Economic Forum, employed to destroy Bitcoin's reputation. I would no doubt keep calling Neil Oliver Jamie, and go off on wild goose chases about corner offices and Shakespeare, completely losing everyone, including my own train of thought. But, being the narcissist that I am, this fact doesn't stop me from fantasizing about how well I would have done in the perfected confines of my imagination. And so, without further ado, I bring to you the Neil Oliver Show, featuring Shakespearean Ape. You shouldn't excuse the bad Scottish accent I'm going to do, because it is inexcusable. Welcome back to Neil Oliver Show. My next guest is Shakespearean Ape. He's a freedom maximalist. I want to be a freedom maximalist too. He's an ex-used fireworks salesman and once led a small uprising in Latin America. He's now a writer on the matter of Bitcoin, and he says his mission is to instill fear, loathing and laughter in the world of Bitcoin. Now, Shakespearean Ape, I feel I caused uproar in the Bitcoin community last week with a guest who was very dismissive, completely dismissive of Bitcoin. Now, I hold no Bitcoin. I don't really have a dog in the fight. However, I am fascinated by Bitcoin, and therefore I am more than happy to redress the inequality and invite you to explain what it is about that cryptocurrency Bitcoin, which makes it, as you see it, the foundation upon which real freedom might be rebuilt. Hi Neil. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about Bitcoin. Now, I understand that to many of your viewers, us Bitcoiners must seem like weird Mormons trying to sell them a used car. There's nothing against Mormons, by the way. I'm actually impressed by how able they are to laugh at themselves, especially when they were ridiculed in the Book of Mormon, which I liked. But if you've already liked South Park, it's a bit tame in comparison. But I understand that it was a mass market musical, and I was like, oh shit, I've gone off on a tangent, must bring it back. So what I mean to say is, I appreciate that your viewers are distrustful of Bitcoin, but that skeptical nature is exactly why they would like Bitcoin. Yeah, that's clever. It's precisely because they are Bitcoiners at heart and share the values of Bitcoin that they don't trust Bitcoin. Maybe I'm being too clever now. Bitcoiners have a saying, don't trust, verify. And all Bitcoin is, fundamentally, is a free-to-participate voluntary network where all users can verify the actions of the other users without the need to trust anyone. Except in my last article I wrote about how Bitcoin requires more trust than people like to admit. Never mind. Hopefully they haven't read it. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, which have active founders, investors, foundations, and companies which created and promote it, and who gave themselves a lot of the coins first before releasing it on the unsuspecting public, Bitcoin is unique in that its founder disappeared and announced the network and all the code publicly, so everyone was able to participate equally in running the network from day one. And it's just grown organically over the last 15 years, with more and more users voluntarily joining the network. There is no CEO or foundation, The software is open source and no one can control what happens to the code. Please don't ask about Bitcoin Core. A question that always comes to my mind when I contemplate Bitcoin is why does its value at the moment, let's say, fluctuate so seismically? You know, it can halve in value and has done in a relatively short space of time. And that in part is why I continue to have questions about its essential nature. Why is it so volatile? Well, I would say it's interesting you use the term its essential nature. It's not Bitcoin that is volatile, it's human nature and human psychology which are volatile around it. It's also the current fiat, is that a term that people who watch GB News understand? Government printed money system which is volatile and lashing violently around this static rock of Bitcoin. Poetic. Who am I, Walt Whitman? All Bitcoin has done for the last 15 years is every 10 minutes process a block, a batch of transactions in a way that all users can verify. That's it. And it's done that continuously for 15 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 366 on a leap year, without fail. This is despite people trying to hack it, governments trying to ban it, and media trying to disparage it. As we say in the community, TikTok next block. So Bitcoin itself is one of the least volatile, most stable technologies invented. But the way to think about the volatility in prices, I would ask, well, how would it be different? The fact that volatility is an opportunity for people to capitalize on the fact that Bitcoin is misunderstood. The volatility is the opportunity. And this is why the price goes up, then it drops, but it never drops all the way. It hits a floor, which is actually the peak from the last cycle. Then it pumps again and drops, but the drop is again near the peak of the preceding cycle. So we have this sort of zigzag upwards, which is what you would expect from a new, misunderstood, scarce asset that is only getting more secure and improving each year, whilst simultaneously people lose trust in the government printed money, and the government having to print more of that money to keep the economy and get elected. Well, what is it, Ape, that makes Bitcoin, as you say, proof from the interference, the hacking, the control of governments, and any other bad actors? I've asked many Bitcoiners this question, but I always come away a little bit uncertain. Can you sum it up for me? Why Bitcoin is inviolable, as you believe it? No, I can't. Well, the issue is, to be perfectly honest with you and the audience, I could try to explain that on a technical level, but unless you have a degree in computer science, it wouldn't mean much. Even if you do have a degree in computer science, Bitcoin was first and foremost a breakthrough in computer science, a new way of doing things, so it's hard for many computer scientists to understand it first. It's like me trying to explain why planes don't fall from the sky. So I think it's better to use a non-technical analogy. Okay, this is my chance to sound like the great physicist Richard Feynman, who when asked how do magnets work simply answered, they repel each other, because he knew providing the scientific explanation would not make sense to laypersons. But using a metaphor would also be misleading, as the metaphor would rely on our intuitive understanding of physics, which is itself a product of the thing we're trying to explain. So it would be a form of tautology less insightful than just saying magnets repel each other. But do people know who Richard Feynman is? And also, I'm not Richard Feynman. I don't have his charisma to pull it off. And do I have time to go on enough a tangent? I wasted a lot of time with the Mormon stuff. Oh, shit. Oh, have I been silent for too long now? I haven't said anything. I'll say my internet froze. Are you there, Shaky? I think my internet froze. As I was saying, so if you take your cup on your desk there, Neil, Neil, why can't you just make another one out of thin air? You can't because you're not a god. So you have to follow the laws of physics. As Scotty said, you can't change the laws of physics. The old GB News audience will appreciate that reference. This is why things have value in the real world. When we say something is tangible, what we mean is it's subject to the laws of physics. Have I lost them yet? The problem with the digital world is there's no laws of physics, so anyone can create anything. You can have a digital representation of a cup, and you can just do Control-C, Control-P, and make millions of copies. And this is good because it means you can do lots of things easily, but as we spend more and more of our lives online and more of the economy is digitized, we need a way to make the digital world tangible, so we can benefit from the speed and access of the digital world, but the tangible nature of the real world. And so all Bitcoin does is to, for the first time ever, connect the law of physics to the digital world. That's really the key breakthrough here. So Bitcoin is a digital thing that is linked to the physical world. Yeah, I've definitely lost them now. This is why Bitcoin mining is key. Your viewers may have heard that Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, but that is exactly the point, because energy is real. You can't fake it. You can't create energy out of nothing. And so what Bitcoin mining does is basically say that in order to create, move, alter Bitcoin, you need to commit a massive amount of energy. The amount of energy currently linked to the Bitcoin network is more than several countries, and that is powering an amount of computation that is equivalent of over 500,000 Googles. I hope that's right, I didn't check it. Likewise, to try to break Bitcoin, you need to marshal more than that energy, using specific hardware, which is essentially infeasible at this point. And even if you did so, the network would know and would react to stop you, and the value of Bitcoin would plummet. Shit, I scared them, don't mention plummeting. Meaning there would be no point, because the protocol works that you get rewarded in Bitcoin by using that energy to help secure the network. So the incentive is to secure the network, not attack it. And for 15 years that has been the case. And I think this is the main misunderstanding of Bitcoin that your audience may have. People say, why can't you just create another Bitcoin? Then they see thousands of other cryptos and they think that's what people have done. And so Bitcoin also must have no value, just like creating copies of digital cups. But what they need to look at is, what is the actual real energy backing those coins? And Bitcoin has the vast majority of companies, miners, people committing real, unfakeable energy to secure the network. And so whenever you hear anyone saying Bitcoin uses too much energy, you know that is a sign that they have no idea what they're talking about. Now I've scared them about price plunging and also the energy use. I hope they don't ask about the environment. No, I hope they do ask about the environment, because then I can talk about how it benefits renewables, saves Africa and all that good stuff. Yes, a lot of people have commented on the fact that Bitcoin's energy use is bad for the environment. But here at GB News, we don't believe in climate change anyway. Plus, as the coast guy, I hate to see wind farms ruining our beautiful coast, so I hate renewables, so that's all fine. Can I ask, is it in any way limited or by the fact that it's running 2007, 2008 technology? Which I suppose means, can it keep pace with developments in the world around it? Is Bitcoin able to evolve as its environmental niche changes? The hell kind of weird, stupid question is that? That's a great question, Neil. But it's kind of based on the misunderstanding, no offense, of how the technology works. The main innovation isn't the technology that is specific to a certain time. The innovation is the protocol, that is the design of the system and the rules, which are timeless and can be realized by different technologies. It's like a good analogy is the English language. It has rules, grammar, vocabulary, and it can be transmitted using different technological mediums, books, print, TV, etc. But the language itself isn't held back by time. But you do raise a good point in that how the Bitcoin network is operationalized will change as laptops change, computers change, the speed of the internet connection, etc., etc. But that's not a change to the actual protocol itself. And should the protocol itself need to adapt due to a change in requirements based on society at that time, well, just as language evolves by consensus, Bitcoin too has the potential to change gradually and organically over a long period of time. But it is resistant to abrupt change by a single actor or group of actors. Just like if you try to invent a new word or form of grammar, people will just not accept it. With that in mind, Ape, this idea that it's isn't always will be in the hand of the people. Right, I'll take you at face value there. Does the protocol that is Bitcoin offer anything in the way of giving us information exchange? A transaction of information that is similarly untouchable by governments and bad actors. You know, I'm after, would it be possible to use the Bitcoin protocol to have a news channel that couldn't be censored because it's, I don't know, peer-to-peer, distributed? You take it from there. Oh, really, do I have to go there? I mean, obviously, let's just focus on doing one thing first. I mean, we can't even get fucking simple Bitcoin as money right yet. Just sending Bitcoin as money in a way that is private, scalable, and easy to use is a fucking nightmare at the moment. People want to run a fucking news channel on chain now. And then you have this fucking stupid people saying, oh, well, if you ran a news channel on chain, let's just call it stupid stone monkey cat JPEG news. That would help the network have the funds and talent to make Bitcoin money work. But actually, it will just congest the chain, making it more centralized, easier to hack and attack. So the whole Bitcoin project will be a waste of time. This stupid idea that you can do everything and anything in a decentralized way. It just doesn't make sense if you think about it for 1 second. Who's going to pay to watch your stupid news channel anyway? No one. People want it free. So you have to have adverts. Advertisers are businesses. Businesses are regulated. And so to get ad revenue, you'll need to appease regulators. And even if you had your blockchain unsensible conspiracy news channel, which you kind of have in the US anyway under the First Amendment, that's not going to stop you as an individual being targeted or prosecuted for stupid libelous stuff you say. Just like, what's his name? Joe Rogan's mate. Infowars guy. Alex Jones, that's it. Not the one show lady. So Neil, are you going to be doing your uncensored blockchain news show from a secret location in an underground bunker somewhere with no production staff? Who will watch that? And that's even if it was possible technically, which it isn't. And maybe if we just focus on fixing the money system, which is a hard enough problem on its own, then perhaps people won't feel so disenfranchised and governments won't be able to manipulate people so much and chase fiat incentives and spread fiat lies to keep the whole system going through a mix of fear and compliance. So you wouldn't need your unsensible news channel, which we all know will only just be its own form of fiat propaganda anyway, as you pump out Coast Guy coin or some crap to pay for your underground bunker studio. Oh shit, I can't say any of this. But I can't get into the reasons about confusing people and putting them off Bitcoin. Oh, I've been silent for too long, I haven't said anything. Sorry Shaky, I think your internet froze again. Just to reiterate, do you think it would be possible to run a news channel that couldn't be censored using Bitcoin? Yes, definitely. Oh, I feel filthy. I might as well be a Ripple shill.